What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content. Now, I know I've not made a video yet in Season 8. I was taking it kind of steady throughout Great League and building our way up towards rank 20 and getting our ELO rating. But now Ultra League's here, we've got our ELO rating. We're currently at Ace rank and climbing up through that. So I thought it's time to make a video, get back into it, and let you guys know what's going on. So this time for Ultra League, we finally decided to build a Registeel. Now, I've never had a Registeel for Ultra League because originally you had to have a 100% IV maxed out, and I had a 98 that I was sat on thinking I could power this up at some point if I wanted to, but never decided to bother doing it. And with Registeel being back in the raids, I got one that was a pretty decent IV spread without having to trade it, and that's the 10, 15, 15. So I thought, you know what, I'll power that up and XL it slightly. I haven't got enough XL candies to get it all the way to 2500, but it is at around 2445, which I'm pretty happy with to go into the Ultra League with. Like, if Registeel is going to win a matchup, it's going to win it. It's going to make very little difference, those last few power-ups in most matchups. And we're going to be pairing the Registeel with Clefable, which is our hard punish in the back to any Giratinas or fighters that might swap in onto the Registeel. And also we've got Giratina, which counts as a hard punish to something like a Swampert, especially running Dragon Breath. We're running Dragon Breath specifically for that. So if someone swaps in something like a Swampert, then it's got some better play against that, and it's also got good play against Obstagoon, Enderlow and Muck. You can flip that matchup quite easily with Dragon Breath. Whereas with Shadow Claw, you're going to be really struggling in some of those matchups that Registeel's also going to struggle with, and you really need Giratina to be able to handle Pokemon that Registeel can't. Our Giratina is running not particularly exciting IV spread, 11, 15, 13, which is a pretty decent PvP spread from the IV selection you have from raids, where again we've not had to trade one, and the Clefable is a 100% best buddy. So we've got the best buddy on for these battles, so it'll be at 2499 CP. And that's running the standard moveset Charm, Moonblast and Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash specifically to help deal with other Charmers or Ice types that are quite common in Open Ultra League. So we're going to jump into the first match, and a Melmetal lead is kind of hit and miss for Registeel, because obviously they can throw a superpower and dip if they want, and then it depends whether or not we can hard punish what they swap into or not, or they can stick around. We can survive one superpower very comfortably. In fact, I think you can survive two, but we actually swap out after they throw the superpower, which I think is a bit of a mistake on our part, because we really don't want to risk getting that thing aligned with Clefable. And since we've got Dragon Breath on Giratina, Registeel really is our best answer. And if you're willing to commit shields in, you can really put a lot of pressure, because obviously the Focus Blast one-shots whether or not they've thrown a superpower, because Melmetal is nowhere near as bulky in Ultra League as it is in Master. And we went with the Cresselia on the swap to Giratina, which I'm kind of happy with, because although Cresselia does a little better against Dragon Breath Giratina than it does Shadow Claw Giratina, it's still a pretty even matchup, just these two Titans just going at it against each other. And since we had a shield advantage, we can still guarantee that we get switch advantage because we can shield a Moonblast. So now I want to see what they're going to come back in with. I'm kind of expecting the Melmetal yet, because obviously they're kind of safe to farm up a bit of energy if they want to, and then dump superpowers into Registeel again. So we're just going to stop in here, keep throwing some Shadow Claws, slowly chip it down, maybe put it towards Flash Cannon range so we can save a little bit of energy when we're throwing, or even if we get stuck, possibly Charm down range. And we're not quite able to get the Shadow Claw off there. We get farmed down with Thunder Shocks, which is really not good for us. Now this thing is loaded, can dump so much energy into our Registeel. We're going to take the first one, and then we're going to swap to Clefable, and they swap out into a Giratina. So they either blind swapped on you, they had to swap out to clear the debuff on Melmetal, which I figured was my only win con at this point, was that if I was going to charm it down, it's once it's debuffed. And we're able to just completely farm down this Giratina. We're not going to use any shields. We need the shield for Registeel for a final charge move potentially. So we're just going to farm down. I'm going to throw a charge move at Melmetal, but they throw immediately. And I think we have to shield. Yeah, we're going to shield this just to get this move off. And then we're going to hopefully get to the move on Registeel to be able to throw that and take out this Melmetal. We swap aggressively and they're going to throw. Now, if this is a Rock Slide, it might not take us out. It's a superpower. Can we now farm down with Clefable? It's going to be close. And we can. We charm down. We take the win. GG. I was being big brain apparently when I was playing, knowing that if the Melmetal debuffed itself was my only chance to get a win, and it worked out for us. Now, Obstagoon Lead. This is kind of bad. I mean, it's actually awful for us, really. But we're going to swap into Dragon Breath Giratina. Now, Shadow Claw Giratina really struggles against Obstagoon. But Dragon Breath Giratina, I think either goes, it's very even, or it even beats an Obstagoon, just because the Dragon Breath damage is so oppressive. And I think they realised this to swap out into a Cresselia, and we're kind of happy with this. I think what we're going to end up doing is just letting the Giratina go down, doing whatever damage we can, and then potentially farming down the Cresselia with Lock-On, so we have a Focus Blast ready to threaten the Obstagoon and get ahead on shields. Now, they're throwing here, which is nice. They couldn't farm down, really. They couldn't commit. We would have got to a move and taken them out. And they're a little far for farm down range, but we know that the Registeel is going to take a battering from Obstagoon anyway, so we might as well commit in and just take these charge moves because we can. And even if we got debuffed by Moonblast, we would still one-shot with the Focus Blast, we would still one-shot it, but they swap out aggressively into Giratina, realising that we're farming them down for energy, and we're just going to swap into Clefable and super hard punish this thing, because now we know that they don't have a hard punish to Clefable. So we're just going to charm this thing down, and then we're going to hopefully charm through the Cresselia if they bring that back in, and they do. We're just going to throw the Moonblast to take it out, or get a shield. We get the shield because they're desperate for Clefable not to see Obstagoon. And I think we're going to shield this and just do quite a bit of work on the Obstagoon. We're going to swap into Registeel, actually. This might be a dumb play, I'm not sure. No, we can survive long enough to get to another Focus Blast, because although Registeel loses to Obstagoon, once shields are down, it's Registeel's time to play, and that double super effective Focus Blast is going to absolutely annihilate Obstagoon's bloodline. Get wrecked, Obstagoon, and that's going to give us a quite convincing win from quite a scary lead. We're able to flip it around and take the win. GG. Telling you guys, I've missed making videos. It's good to be back. We'll be back doing this, making some content for you guys to watch and some teams to check out. And third matchup, and we've got a Cresselia lead. That's a brilliant lead for us, and they swap into a Charizard, and it's a Dragon Breath Charizard. This was not a good move on our part. We really shouldn't have swapped into Giratina. Clefable would have been a better swap in than Giratina into a Dragon Breath Charizard, because then all you have to do is shield Blast Burns, and that's kind of scary, but you're just going to get torn to shreds by this Dragon Breath from the Charizard and the Dragon Claws. Either Registeel or Clefable would have been a better shout against this Charizard, and then potentially saving the Giratina of something else in the back. If they're running Cresselia and a Fire, maybe there's a Talonflame as well in the back. I'm not sure. Hard to know for definite. But we're gonna we're gonna eat this Blast Burn that absolutely wrecks Clefable's health. They come back in with Cresselia, and we're not looking good at all, unless for some reason they swapped in their hardest Registeel counter and Reggie can sweep. But it's a Talonflame in the back. We can't do anything here. We're just gonna keep throwing flash cannons, hope for the best, but there's nothing we can do. This Talonflame's just gonna run rampant on us now. It's gonna ramp up its damage, throwing flame charges, and incinerate the rest of the team to bits. We should really have backed out, but we were feeling stubborn. We were gonna go down fighting here in this match. Now, if we'd have swapped Clefable into the Charizard, that probably would have been Clefable's best use in this match, since we couldn't get it on the Cresselia, and then maybe we could have lined Giratina up to the Talonflame, and that might have been pretty good for us. But you can't win them all, and sometimes you make mistakes. Good game. So we're going to jump into the next match against Spinal Puppet, and we get a Cresselia lead. This is an amazing lead for Registeel. It absolutely walls all the charge moves, and they swap into a Politoed, and we're going to bring in Giratina, because the Weather Ball spam is going to be a little bit problematic probably for Clefable, and Registeel doesn't want to see this. And they Blizzard us, and it doesn't one-shot. Even though Blizzard got a buff a couple of seasons ago, it's still not enough to take out Giratina, but it absolutely smashes us to bits, and now we're in Weather Ball range. which is kind of tough because now if we want to keep switch advantage, we've got to start shielding weather balls, which we really don't want to do. You see that the weather ball just does absolutely nothing. Giratina is an absolute unit, and we might be able to Dragon Breath down, but they're going to throw again. I think we could shield and take switch. Yep. Hopefully. Yep, we swap out into Umbreon, and we're just going to bring Clefable into this. And this is a great matchup, and we know they've got Cresselia on the Registeel, so the opponent surrenders. Good game. As you can see, Giratina able to take that super effective Blizzard like an absolute champ. Not many Pokemon can say they can shake off a super effective Blizzard. Now in the next match we've got a Poliwrath Lead, and this isn't good for Registeel, so we're going to swap into Giratina, because even though Poliwrath has Ice Punch, it will lose to Giratina all the same, because it just gets outbulked so heavily. And we're met with an Alolan Muck counter swap, and this is why we're running Dragon Breath. Because a lot of Pokemon that are going to swap in against your Giratina swap are going to struggle more if you're running Dragon Breath. And yeah, Shadow Claw's great for Charmers, but you still cannot win those Charm matchups. So there's no point in having Shadow Claw. You might as well have Dragon Breath and be able to more convincingly take those wins against things like Alolan Muck here and things like Obstagoon. So there you're able to flip switch. We go down a shield, but it's worth it to get Clefable on Poliwrath and keep Registeel away from Poliwrath. So now we're feeling pretty good because we should have a very strong advantage from Clefable being on Poliwrath. Bring in, start farming down, and they're going to swap out to a Cresselia, and we can lock Registeel onto this thing. So taking switch advantage in this match was absolutely crucial, and we're lucky that they didn't have a hard punish to Giratina, because if they did, it probably would have been a GG's to them. Now this match is looking very much in our favour, but it's not over yet. The Poliwrath has energy. They're going to be able to swap in at some point because this matchup is going to take so much time to play out. And they get the attack debuff from Moonblast on us, so now our Flash Cannon is going to do even less damage, but we're still in a very dominant position in this matchup, and we're saving the shield for the Poliwrath in case it swaps in and tries to sneak a Dynamic Punch on us. We're looking pretty strong in this match because even Clefable would have a good chance at sweeping this match, just given that one shield. So we're just going to let Registeel stay in here. If they do swap and throw a move from Poliwrath, we would shield that on Registeel, but otherwise we're just going to stay in this matchup, not shield anything, and then let Clefable mop up the Poliwrath at the end. So we're just throwing like the 18th Flash Cannon here because these two things are so bulky and we've been debuffed, and the Cresselia is shielded twice. So chipping away, they swap into Poliwrath, and if we might have caught the Dynamic Punch here as well. Now it's an Ice Punch, but that's not going to matter. We can take Ice Punches all day long. It's going to farm down with Charm, not shield anything, and then just finish off the Cresselia, and that's going to be a good game for us. And that's going to be the end of the first set in this video. We've got two sets for you today, back to back. It's the first two sets we did when Ultra League dropped. We wanted to jump in with this team, try it out and see what people were running. We're a bit nervous we were going to see a lot of Registeel counters with it just being in raids at the minute, but we got lucky and we didn't see many counters at all actually. At least we didn't see many teams designed to hard counter Registeel. And we pull a Registeel from our counter, so a few extra XL candies towards powering it up another time if we decide to. And we're going to claim, you're going to see where I'm actually around roughly ELO ratings. You can see there 2347, so we're climbing our way through Ace towards Veteran rank. We didn't do all our battles early on in the season, especially on Go Battle Night. We only did about 4 or 5 sets, so we're a little behind on total number of battles, but I'm quite happy with where I am at the minute in terms of climbing in rating. And in the first match of the second set, we get a Giratina lead, and it's a Shadow Claw Giratina. So really, we swap into Giratina ourselves because Registeel probably has the worst matchup on the team against this thing, and ideally we wanted them to swap out and then hopefully line Clefable up with it later, but they're staying in here, which means they might be weak to Giratina in the back, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're going to be able to force a shield here, which is really nice for us. It's oftentimes you'll find that a Shadow Claw Giratina gets a little greedy at the end, thinking they can farm you down, and you get one last Dragon Claw and force that shield, which is nice. Now we're not going to bring in Clefable, we're going to bring in Registeel and farm down, because we've got a feeling that they'll have a hard punish for a Charmer because they're leading Giratina, obviously. So we're going to hope that they bring out that hard Charmer punish onto Registeel instead, and with such a massive energy advantage on Registeel and the shield advantage, we're hoping that we can just sweep up. We're taking quite a lot of damage here now, but they're throwing Dragon Claw, so we're not too stressed. We farm them down, and they bring in Escavalier, and this is, well, this might be their big charm counter, it might not be. We're going to throw a Focus Blast, do a massive chunk of damage, swap out to Clefable, and they've got Cresselia in the back. So this match is not over yet. That Escavalier is going to be kind of scary to deal with, but we have a chance of dealing with it. And Cresselia throws Future Sight, which would have been good to shield, but not that many Cresselias are running Future Sight, so it's not the move that you expect. They also throw Moonblast, so I don't know what they do about a Swampert in the back on this team. I guess they struggle, but honestly we haven't seen that many Swamperts this time around in Ultra League. Now I think to win we've got to catch a Drill Run on Registeel. Perhaps no, we get to the Meteor Mash. This is huge, because now we can shield on Registeel and hopefully get to a move and take them out. It's going to be super close. The Escavalier is super low. It might even be in charm range at this point. We're going to shield the Drill Run, but they've got two, so we're not able to get the Focus Blast or Flash Cannon off. So now we're going to have to come in with Clefable and hope we can charm down. Is it one charm? Is it two? It's two charms. We're just able to take the win. GG. Super close game there. And just because of that energy lead we got on Registeel, we might have struggled if we'd have come in with straight away with Clefable and farmed down the Giratina. And in this match, we've got a Clefable lead, amazing lead. You love to see a charm lead when you're leading Steel. They swap into Obstagoon and we have Clefable to super hard punish this thing. They build up a lot of energy, so we're going to shield once in case it's a Gunk Shot or a Hyper Beam, but it's just a Night Slash. So now we don't have to shield because we know this is another Night Slash. So now we know that they can't take us out no matter what. So even though they've took a shield off of us, we know that we still can get Registeel locked onto the Clefable and then save our Giratina for whatever's in the back, which hopefully is something it can deal with, as long as it's not something that really resists both Dragon and Ghost moves. And they bring in the Clefable. We're just going to throw Meteor Mash straight away. They do shield, which is nice, so we even out the shield scenario. And we get farmed down, but all the energy is pretty useless against Registeel. So they swap out into their Shadow Swampert, and we can get Giratina on this. And again, this is a matchup where it's amazing to have Dragon Breath rather than Shadow Claw, because you see that Dragon Breath is just chipping away, eating away, eating away. And if we can get the shield at this point, Registeel can just take this thing out with the charge move itself if it has to. So we're going to take this move, I think. Yep, we're going to save the shield for Registeel. We're able to survive that actually, which is pretty clutch, because this is going to do a good chunk of change damage to a Swampert. It nearly takes it out. But when we're able to farm down, they had to commit to the farm down to take the win there. And we were able to farm them down first, so it's our game. GG. The opponent did do the right thing, trying to farm down with Swampert. It was their win condition because we obviously saved the shield. So if they'd have managed to farm us down first, we would have lost. And that was probably the only way they could have flipped that position around. So good on them for recognising that. But lucky for us, it worked out. Now in this match we get a Talonflame Lead, and Talonflame Lead is awful, but also Clefable really struggles as well with Talonflame, so we can't really swap out, but we do anyway, hoping to catch a Flame Charge, which we do. They swap into a Bomber Snow, and this is just hard counter City in this match. This opponent with an XL Bomber Snow and an XL Talonflame is going to absolutely batter us here. Going to stay in and throw Dragon Claws. We're not really sure what the play is to do here at this point. Probably coming with Registeel, I guess, to take out this Bomber Snow. But really, we're really in a tough spot here because Clefable's not going to be able to deal with the Talonflame. Either we might not even be able just to take out the Talonflame with Registeel and Clefable combined. This is going to be we undercharge the Flash Cannon so we can farm down, and they swap out aggressively into Talonflame, which would have been it's a high risk play for them to do that in case we had a hard counter to Talonflame in the back, but we don't. So really, we're just going to really struggle with this Talonflame. We're going to go for the world's most optimistic Charm Down, which is not going to work. This thing is going to be able to spam Flame Charges, it's going to farm us down, it's going to be amped up to the 9s, and then it's going to be able to take out Registeel, and we're not even going to see what the third Pokemon is, I think, here, because with that bit of health there, it's going to be able to... I think we might not even bother shielding this because they still have a shield themselves. No, we are. We're here to fight. We're here to fight to the end. We're able to lock on down the Talonflame, and it's a Cresselia in back. So, I mean, I don't think we could have played this game differently. If we'd have safe swapped Clefable into Talonflame, which would have been absolutely insane. It'd have been insane, but it might have been able to work out better. But I don't recommend ever generally safe swapping a Charmer, unless you're running a double Charm line, obviously. But I don't recommend safe swapping Charmers in general because they're so easily hard countered, and there's always lots of steals roaming around in PvP. Some games you're going to be hard countered, and there's just not much you can do about it. So we're going to throw another flash cannon at this Cresselia, where we're hoping for some reason this is a quadruple critical super effective hit. It's not. We could have been Psycho Cut down there, but they're just going to throw, get it over with, take us out, and that's going to be their win. And yeah, like Registeel Lead is a little, well, it's the same as like leading with a Charmer, I suppose. It's like it can go very well, it can go very badly because it's such a polarizing typing. It's either going to be, you know, really strong or really weak to whatever you come up against. So the next match, we're up against a Shadow Machamp. This is the Nightmare Lead. Good lord. We swap out into Giratina and we're met with an Alolan Muck. And again, we want to take swap. We have to take swap. We cannot have Registeel locked against that Machamp. We have to get the Clefable on it. It is worth going down shields to get switch advantage. We're not going to shield the first Dark Pulse, just to tempt them to maybe not shield this. Maybe they let us take them out, and they do shield. But we're going to shield, and I think we can, yeah, we can flip this at this point, because if we commit both shields now, we can Dragon Breath down. So, and we're able to slightly outpace them to these Dragon Breaths. They must have been just a little slow on the swap, which is really good for us. So we're able to take swap. They come into Melmetal. It's even more of a good thing that we've managed to take swap, because Clefable would have been absolutely walled by this thing. And while it's not ideal having Registeel against Melmetal, they've only got one shield left. So as long as they don't catch, we should be able to just win this matchup. Either way, they swap into Machamp and we're immediately ready for it. We swap out to Clefable and we're just going to charm this thing down. We're not going to shield because Clefable is dead weight against the Melmetal. So charming down, and we're just going to throw charge moves at this thing, threaten to whittle it down a bit. They're going to have to throw energy to take us out. They can't farm us down. And they throw before we get to a move, which is fine. We're going to let them throw that, take us out, and now we're not. I think our win con here is to call a Rock Slide. They will get to probably 3 superpowers. If they go straight superpower, I don't think we can win. But if they call a Rock Slide and they mess it up, which they do Rock Slide, we don't shield it. Now we can shield the superpower, which is great. Can we make it to the Focus Blast? We do, and that's going to be a good game for us. Super clutch that they didn't just throw a double superpower, which they really could have done, because we were low enough at that point where it still would have taken us out. But sometimes nerves get the better of you, and we knew we had to make that call, and sometimes it works out. So GG. Saying that maybe going straight superpower wouldn't have worked for them, but it would have been. It was super close either way, and we're just happy with that it worked out as it did. And in this match, we've got a Mew lead, and Mew's quite unusual in Ultra League because a lot of people either save their Mews for Great League or they max them out for Master League. You don't see Mews as often in the Ultra, but it is strong because it's got that Flame Charge, which is good for the steals. It can have Surf, that's good for the ground types. It can have, well, the Shadow Claw is good against the Psychics and the Ghosts. So we're going to swap out into Clefable, which I think is a bit of a absolute mad person thing to do. But it pays off because we're not hard punished with a steal, and that's really all you can ask for. If you safe swap into a Charmer and they don't punish you with a steal, you have got incredibly lucky. We throw the Moonblast because both moves are neutral, but the Moonblast is stab and more damage, so it would probably take out the Lapras, whereas it would probably survive a Meteor Mash barely. So it was kind of like a get the shield or take them out kind of play, because we weren't going to make it to a second charge move either way. Now we come in with Registeel, and we're not going to shield anything, we're just going to focus on taking out this Lapras, and we're going to hope that double shielded Giratina can sweep, and we got to hope that this isn't some kind of double ice strategy, because there was quite a popular double ice line in Ultra League, but it was Giratina double ice, and it's a Togekiss. I'd have preferred it to be a bloody ice type. Nothing we can do with this. We're just going to get melted by this Togekiss, and even with 2 shields at this point, the Registeel is too low really to now turn this match around. So this is going to be a good game. We maybe should have shielded some of the Surfs on Registeel from Lapras if we'd have known, but you never know. Till the Pokemon comes out, you don't know what's in the back. And there was no other way we could have played this game. If we'd have swapped into Giratina, we'd have been met with the Togekiss. So we couldn't really win that match either way. So that's going to conclude the second set of battles. So we're able to go 3-2 in that set, and I think in the first set it was a 4-1, which is we're really happy with, really. If you're getting 3-2s and 4-1s, that's amazing. And our ELO creeps up to 2363, so looking pretty good there. We're happy with that. And I'm going to leave you guys with bonus match. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those who've subscribed already. You are absolute legends, and I will catch you guys next time.